Hi, I'm Gego from Indonesia, and I'm a PhD in the Department of Anthropology at the University of Amsterdam. Honestly, I'm still new to the field of anthropology because my background is in international relations, a discipline that primarily conducts research through desk studies. My interest in anthropology grew when a colleague from the IR department shared her fascinating experience with ethnographic research. From her story, I sensed a dynamic way of understanding the world. My decision to switch to anthropology was further solidified by my experience at an NGO focused on development in eastern Indonesia. During that time, I began to learn about development studies and connect with a network of researchers working in the region. I also had the opportunity to visit various areas in eastern of Indonesia, such as Papua, Maluku, East Nusa Tenggara, West Nusa Tenggara. I was amazed by its natural beauty, often described as pieces of heaven fell to earth. In discussions with researchers in the area, a topic that particularly caught my attention was the development of tourism in Wakatobi, South Sulawesi province, and its impact on the livelihood strategies of local communities. Although I had never visited Wakatobi at that time, I was familiar with its reputation as a marine tourism destination, especially among marine enthusiasts. At the moment I enrolled in anthropology department, I realized I was entering four new fields: a new research method, ethnography, a new discipline, anthropology, a new research topic, tourism and livelihoods, and a research field I had never visited before, Wakatobi. While this caused me anxiety, but it also sparked a strong sense of curiosity and enthusiasm in me. I learned that Wakatobi is well known as a world-class diving destination, holding four significant statuses: National Park, UNESCO Biosphere Reserve, ASEAN Geopark, and one of the 10 new Balis, which refers to 10 premium tourism destinations outside Bali that the Indonesian government aims to develop. So on December 18, 2021, I landed in Wakatobi for the first time. When I got into the car, the person who was picking me up said, "You chose the right place. This is the best place to dive." But he didn't know that I was not a diver and that my purpose for coming was not for a vacation, but for research. But his comment made me realize that if I wanted to study tourism in Wakatobi, I should meet and talk to those who guide tourist diving, the dive guides. So when I met one of the dive guides, our conversation was brief because he was busy with his work. Before taking his guest diving, I asked if I could join him on the boat to have more time to chat and observe his activities. "Sorry, I have to ask permission from the boss first," he replied. But he couldn't contact his boss. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get on the boat, which left me feeling disappointed. However, I started to think that if I wanted to spend more time with the dive community, the best way to do so would be to get a diving certification. I would have to become a diver. This spontaneous idea seemed logical, but there was one significant obstacle. I was afraid of the sea. Movies had greatly influenced my perception of the sea as a scary place. So after discussing this with my supervisors, we agreed that obtaining a diving certification could serve as an ideal entry point into the diving community. It would also allow me to practice participant observation, which requires engaging directly in the activities of the community we are studying to understand their lives from their perspective rather than relying on others' interpretation. So I took diving class with one of the senior divers in Wakatobi, who also the head of the professional diving association there. And as expected, I encountered many difficulties during the training. I almost failed at mastering the basic and essential diving skill known as mask clearing, where I had to remove my mask underwater and put it back on without surfacing. Many times I failed, rushed to the surface because the view of the endless blue below me made me panic and thought about giving up. I tried to excuse my failures by telling the instructor that something was wrong with my mask. However, my instructor offered to exchange mask. But it was the same. I failed again, returning to the surface. And at that moment, my instructor stated that the problem is not with the mask, but with your fear. Overcome that fear first. I'll wait for you below. Then he descended and disappeared from my sight. But after several more attempts, I finally managed to clear my mask. I felt an immense sense of relief. It turns out that the strongest motivation comes when we are at our weakest. So, with my diving certification at hand, I was able to join the diving community more easily. I often went on the boat with the dive centers when they took tourist diving. My initial goal of spending more time with the dive guides was successfully achieved. My experience conducting research in Wakatobi allowed me to understand tourism and conservation not only in theory but also through the lens of people who live in that environment. For me, ethnographic research is a powerful learning model because it enables us to experience life directly and become involved in it. However, this diving certification did more than just facilitate my research. It also revealed several things about me. I realized that my learning method often involved jumping right in and facing challenges, despite a strong sense of anxiety. Nonetheless, my adventurous spirit and curiosity always encouraged me, whispering, just jump in. And that whisper led me to extraordinary experiences and opened my eyes to the beauty of the sea and the importance of conservation. I have become increasingly aware of the necessity of preserving our oceans, especially as someone from an archipelago country, and my identity as diver reinforces that commitment. I now actively participate in various coral reef conservation activities, which have become my passion. To be honest, I never imagined that ethnographic research would lead me to become a diver and discover my hidden passion. It turned out that I only needed to dive deeper. Now, I am grateful that I dared to make a risky decision that changed me forever, but in the right direction.